my next question. How to transition into business operations role?
Got it. Yeah. That's a tough one. I think, I mean, that could be different for different people. I know, I mean, for me, what I tried to do when I wanted to move into more technology management and data analysis, things like that, and develop those skills, I took a look at sort of a gap analysis of my skills, right? So what skills do I think I need, or that I know I need, right, from research or from past interviews, what have you, and how do I fill those gaps? So it could be through certifications or some sort of continuing education courses that are available. There's a lot of resources out there, things like lynda.com, and I think LinkedIn has some resources, and obviously there's things like HiCounselor as well. So there's a number of avenues, I think, to take, but definitely trying to fill your skills gaps is important, and highlight that on your resume. I think if you're in the position to consider an internship or some sort of volunteer opportunity that aligns towards building operations experience on your resume, I think that would be beneficial. Not everyone can afford to do an internship. Maybe you're already in the workforce. A lot of internships are either unpaid or low pay, right? So that may not be possible. So maybe volunteer opportunities are more possible for you. And then, I think, drawing again on my experience, you've got to be willing to target a role that, whether it's in your existing company or in a new company, it may be a lateral move, or it may even be a potential step back. And that might unlock a few doors for you to make that transition. So again, that you got to make that personal decision. But for me, again, leaving a permanent job that was a management position, it was, I was enjoying what I was doing. It just, I wanted to do more, and again, develop more of my skills. Making a decision that, hey, I'm gonna leave that permanent job with benefits and, all the bells and whistles, right, to take a contractor role. That was a decision I had to make, and it wasn't an easy one at first, but again, probably the best decision I've made in my career, and so thankful that I did it. So you might have to kind of put pride aside a little bit for a period of time and say, hey, I'm gonna do this lateral move, or I'm gonna take a step back, but it's all for getting to where you want to go, right? So I would encourage you to see the long game, and don't think as much about the short term. As long as you see the opportunity there for the long term, it could be worth it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So what is the career path in business operations?
Yeah, career path in business operations. I mean, again, this might be more dependent upon the company and the industry that you're in, things like that. Career path, I think, is something that, frankly, I think a lot of companies probably struggle with that, right? Because a lot of it's dependent upon how the company grows and where the investment opportunities are. So for me, the way I've looked at operations kind of in general, there tends to be a management track and an SME track, or subject matter expert. And each is valuable in their own way. I think there's a misconception that to be a leader, you've got to be a manager, and I don't think that's true. There's plenty of opportunities at every company I've been to be a leader without actually managing people. And so I would encourage people to consider which track they want to go down. And if it's that subject matter expert route, I think it becomes, you're working towards being a high level employee or a principal employee, right? with very specific skills around tools or technologies or process or data, right? And again, I think the career path there is moving from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, so on. And that growth typically happens through, one, really high quality work, above and beyond expectations, but then also the level of expertise that you bring to the table. On the management side, for me, it was moving into a manager role. It was having a small team that was focused on particular type of work. In our case, we supported various organizations within the greater marketing org. And then when I was able to move to senior manager, we took on additional responsibility. And so I think if you're in that management track, let's say you are a first tier manager or something like that, I think it's how can you show that you and your team are ready and willing to take on additional responsibility. For me, that was moving towards managing some of the productivity technologies, and that kind of expanded the role a little bit, if you will. So hopefully that helps. But I think a lot of it's going to be dependent upon the company, and I think those are good questions to ask when you're in the interview processes. A lot of times interviewers will ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But I think it's okay to flip the script a little bit and say, where do you see your department in 5 years? Like, how do you anticipate growth and opportunity for folks that are doing really good work?